most welcome to today's episode of Coffe Court. My name is Ronah Nahabwe, where we bring you the latest or the deliberate conversations that should interest you. Today we are having Mr. Sam Musige, who is in charge of economic affairs here at the Ministry of East African Community Affairs. Thank you, and say hello to the viewers.
Thank you so much. I'm called Musige Sam, the Assistant Commissioner in the Department of Economic Affairs in the Ministry of East African Community Affairs.
Okay.
The Ministry of East African Community Affairs is a ministry in all the partner states of East Africa with the main purpose of making sure that they work as the spokesperson and the coordinator of East African community integration. So the main objective of the Ministry of East African Community Affairs is to make sure that Uganda benefits from the East African community. And with us, the East African community has got 4 pillars. That is the customs union, the common market, the monetary union, and the political federation. But of course, economic affairs, we normally handle the 3 pillars, which is the customs union, common market, and the monetary union.
Okay, to begin with, before we even look at the main topic, which is NTBs or non-tariff barriers, I would like to look at what are the barriers locally that are hindering regional trade for Uganda.
There are no serious specific barriers, but partner states at times come up with measures which are not which impede trade, of course, but which are not supposed to be there, because as the customs union are supposed to be having a free flow of goods within the EAC.
Yes.
But what happens that because of one reason or another, maybe because of diseases, maybe because of other factors, like last time you heard that Kenya had stopped the transfer of maize from Uganda to there, raising issues, health issues, that the maize from Uganda had aflatoxins. So those are the measures. But otherwise, goods have been and are moving across the borders without challenges. Also, some time back, also we had issues of sugar. Also had issues of milk.
Milk, yes.
Yeah, we had those issues, but we have been resolving them. By the time they continue reoccurring. Even we had issues of chicken and eggs with Kenya, but they have been we resolved them. Majorly resolved them at the EAC level or bilaterally between Uganda and Kenya.
Maybe to just bring you up to speed, Kenya in the last 4 years has blocked a number of Ugandan exports, including milk, poultry products, beef, sugar, like you mentioned. And what we import from Kenya is around $940 million. Kenya imports from Uganda. Kenya exports from Uganda amount to $401 million. As you can see, we import more than we export to Kenya. And if you look at Tanzania as well, Uganda's imports from Tanzania are $734 million. This is according to OESC, a site where we get some of these statistics. And you know, like I mentioned, we import more from Kenya than we export. And I would like us to derive this to some of the bureaucratic inefficiencies and, you know, the influx of counterfeits, corruption, and infrastructure problems. How intense are these factors in hindering our trade?
Yeah, I think in 2019 and 2018, before COVID came in, the trading pattern had changed. In fact, Uganda was exporting more to Kenya than what they were. Initially, of course, Kenya, we have been importing more from Kenya. But in 2018 and 2019, we were exporting more to Kenya than what they were importing to us. Okay. That's and I think also that was there was a lot of, if you could hear media in Kenya complaining that Uganda was selling products of low standards. That's the issue of milk. That's when it came in. The issue of grains, maybe that's when it came in. You know, when you're looking at trade is also political. There are other factors also. So I think we have been doing very well. But of course, Kenya was also surprised to see that Uganda was now able to sell more to them. So, in a way, in a bid to reduce our exports to Kenya, some people came up and saying that Uganda, our products were not of good standards,
Okay.
like milk, like maize. But we have, this is a relationship. So when a relationship, when issues raise up, you get off solving them. So issues were raised maybe by competitors, and then we have tried to handle these issues amicably.
Should I say that the non-tariff barriers are a cause to worry for East Africa as a region?
Yeah, the non-tariff barriers, because these are measures imposed by partner states other than tariffs, which can impede trade. For example, when Kenya said that our maize had the aflatoxins, so we were not able to send maize there. So it would affect us. The same with milk, the same with other things. But we have also been imposing non-tariff barriers to other countries, and they also complain about them. But we have been trying to solve them. See, there are some things, for example, you may not be able to handle. For example, now when we had COVID, remember we had COVID, and we were stopping people to come in without testing, those kind of stories. Kenya drivers complained at the border, and we had issues, and we had to get an amicable of solving it. So, because of maybe some health reasons, if a country says that your maize had issues, you may not be able to until you confirm what is the real issue. So that one. We have other things like the way bridges also, they can act as NTBs, and those kind of things. So the major problem is these NTBs. The time is come in, or eggs and chicken. Also, one time we have been having a very long time NTB with Kenya about beef, saying that we were not allowing their beef in Uganda because we were saying that their beef could be having some be infected with the mad cow disease, and Kenya has been complaining, and we had refused until recently when we harmonized it. So these measures are taken in most cases by partner states or countries with aim of protecting the population.
Okay. I would like to understand the quotas and embargoes. For someone who doesn't even know these terms, what are they? How do they apply? When do they come to be effected?
Yeah. You see, with quotas, for example, under COMESA.
Okay.
Under COMESA, we have every country has got a quota which is supposed to supply or to export to another country. So they say, because you see, we are like, for example, you are producing milk and supplying it. For example, okay, I'm going to give you a simple example. You are supplying food to Makerere University, and there are about 5 farms. So because all of you have to go into business, what we do, we say that every company will supply this, because the demand of Makerere could be 10 tons. So they say that maybe if you have 5 suppliers, every country should supply 2 tons, so that we meet what is required in Makerere. So also under COMESA, we have got tons, quotas which were put there, that maybe Uganda should supply maybe 90,000 tons of sugar, so that everybody would be able to supply in that market. So you don't bring everything you have, so that other colleagues also must be able to supply, because we have under COMESA, we have other big strong countries like Egypt, which produces sugar, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania is part of them. So, and the other South African countries. So that's why there are those quotas. Just make sure that you supply what has been scheduled for you to supply.
How about embargoes?
Embargoes, you see, you put an embargo. An
Mm.
embargo is like you are stopping something from coming because of reasons. Now, like I was telling you, for example, the issue of maize. If you have said that, if you suspect that the maize in Uganda is not very good for human consumption, you put a number. But of course, for another reason, you have failed to fulfill another technical reason, or you're not fulfilling another condition. They can say, because Uganda, I'm going to give you an example, that maybe because the DRC, you are not following the human rights. Therefore, we're not going to allow you to bring your coffee maybe to EU. That's an embargo. You stop something from doing something that it can affect you. For example, you say Uganda, since you export sugar, we're not going to allow you to export sugar to either EU or to EAC because you have not fulfilled A, B, C, D.
How best can these restrictions be harmonized to lessen trade tensions?
Yeah, normally what happens is that we have dispute resolution measures at all levels. You know, for example, at WTO, World organizations, we have regional blocks. This time now, these days we have the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Yes.
We have the, like I've told you, the other X, like COMESA, SADC, we have the tripartite, we have the ECOWAS of West Africa. So at that level, people sit and resolve these issues.
Do bilateral negotiations really come out to be fruitful, that they can?
Very fruitful. Very fruitful. Especially at the EAC level. We have always had meetings with our colleagues who have solved a number of issues with Kenya, especially about all these issues we've been talking about milk, about sugar, about all those things we have been talking them about. We had also put NTBs on a number of these products coming from Kenya, visas. We had the fees under pharmaceuticals, but we all removed all these through bilateral meetings, and even at the regional level.
Okay, to juxtapose this, when you mentioned the African Continental Free Trade Zone, I remembered World Bank's economic update for Uganda last year mentioned for Uganda to benefit fully from this free zone, Uganda and her neighbors will need to overcome hurdles that have long weakened the effectiveness of existing regional arrangements by facilitating better trade through improved logistics, infrastructure, addressing non-tariff barriers, and avoiding the politically motivated trade barriers like border closures. And border closures, we have seen these, like just then we hear that the Malaba border has been closed. The border that connects us to Tanzania has been closed. How best, or what is the scope of cooperation between the EAC trading bloc?
The EAC is doing very well, and we don't have real border closures in the EAC. The only last border closure we had was between Uganda and Rwanda, and I think it has been handled and so on. But between Uganda and Tanzania and Kenya and South Sudan, we don't have border closures. We only have, like I've told you, the NTPs, which may rise up because of other reasons. Maybe the biggest challenge we'll be having right now is that the Republic of South Sudan, of course, this is still a young country. They have very many challenges. So they at times have been coming up with issues. Like recently, the drivers were striking, but we again sat, and we're also going to continue to make sure that we sit and have these issues resolved. But this is a relationship which you cannot guarantee that everything has to move perfectly the way you think. Even at the EU, there are also challenges. But and our regional bloc is still a young one. EU has been there for the last 50 years. They still also have challenges. Our this other new one, which was started in almost 20 years ago. We are moving on well, and I think, by the way, if you find out, the most developing regional bloc in Africa, the EAC, which is performing well.
And why? What could be characterized by that?
What's characterized is that, you see, we have, for example, the senior customs territory, movement of goods. Goods are supposed to move straight away from. It used to take a number of days, for example, for goods to move from Mombasa to Malaba. Now it takes about two to 3 days. The goods have reached. So we have improved them. We have the one-stop border posts, that when you are going to taking goods to Kenya, you don't stop in Uganda first and then stop in Kenya. You just stop once in Kenya because the officers of Uganda will be there and they will handle you. So there are a number of things. We have harmonized the standards. That means the UNBS, KBS, which is Kenya Bureau of Standards, with Tanzania and Rwanda, that you recognize the standard marks. So you don't disturb if you see a mark on water from Uganda going to Kenya. You don't ask anything, you just allow it to move.
But we have had issues where some of our products reach in Kenya perhaps and then they put made in Kenya. I don't know, branding, the issue of branding. There's something I saw in one of those headlines. What causes all that? How would we even arrive to such a thing?
You see, I don't think that one this shall happen like that. But you see, some of the importers of these goods might be Kenyans.
Okay.
So when they reach in Kenya, they have maybe the other products. They may be able to sell it as what? As Kenyan products. So you can find that the importers could be Kenyans. They put it from here, and they have another from Tanzania, and then from Kenya, and then they put it together. When you are going to sell it to maybe to EU or somewhere, you are just going to say, now this one is from Uganda. So they want to sell it at a government when you go to an international market. By the way, for your surprise, that you can go to a country and you say, I'm from Uganda. You say, what is Uganda? Well, some people may not be knowing where Uganda is and what Uganda is. So at an international level, you might find that a businessman might be thinking that he would better off sell products from Kenya because Kenya is a bigger economy than Uganda.
Okay. Would joint venture partnerships such as what we're seeing with the SGR and ECOP help, ease or do away with NTBs?
Yeah, the joint, and I think we have done a lot of, we are doing a lot of joint projects at the ESC level. Of course, you are seeing the ECOP is available. We have been doing joint programs on roads, especially roads between, especially around Malaba and Busia. All those ones have been joint projects. The railway also, and in fact, if the SGR starts operating, these issues of NTBs will be reduced completely because you will put goods from Uganda straight away. If they're going to Mombasa, they will move straight away and go. But because this road transport has got a number of challenges, there is speed limit, there is way bridges, there is security issues, there is what. So those ones are among other things which affect the flow of movement of goods. And even at times, the drivers themselves, they have their own plans. He reaches somewhere, he stops. Maybe he has the things he wants to do. He reaches in Malaba, he stays there for 2 days, he reaches one. But if it's the train, if it's the CSGR, you put there the goods, the coffee, up to the destination. But these drivers, not the human beings who have got their own. You find them parking here, even in Uganda here, along the roads. You find the vehicle parked. Maybe it seems the owner that the vehicle has got spoiled. Maybe they have they're doing trading services.
Maybe to conclude this conversation, what should we expect this year in regards to the ESC trade bloc? What is it looking like?
The ESC has been moving very well over a period of times. We are expecting to continue performing better because we have been negotiating a number of things which we have come to almost concluding at the EC level. But of course, we also we are also having negotiations at EAC, within the EAC, within the CFTA. We are looking at the bigger picture that we can be able to take our goods to. The other day I was supposed to take our milk to Algeria, supposed to take our goods to Accra, it's Ghana and Nigeria. This is by importing a lot of things from. We're supposed to export beef within Africa and even outside. So we are negotiating at the region, make sure that we are able to supply goods within Africa at the EU level, and even with China and India and other regional blocks. So we are performing much better. We are seeing us moving from one level to another.
Thank you. Good luck with that. Now that will lead us to the end of Coffe Court. As a key takeaway from this conversation, of course, the implementation of the SGR should be able to do away with some of these NTBs and lessen the trade tension within the regional trade, that is the East African community. Many thanks for joining us. As always, my name is Ronah Nahabwe, and thank you for watching always.